Hot Facts with Robert Reese here, people. It's getting nuts. It's getting really nuts. Another attempted scam, and driver gets shot and killed. Uber driver, rideshare. Got a question. Should your grandparents be doing this for a side hustle? This was an older grandfather, maybe, not even maybe. He was a great grandfather. And that was like a great grandma. You can tell how slow the scene was happening when she was saying no, stop, and how slow he was walking up, that they were grandparents' age. But that gunfire has no age. And it's crazy because as we think the more money we make, the better the job is, I think more people are realizing that us drivers are more guinea pigs than what we think. They can send you over to do their dirty work and you can be the one that ends up dead and nothing else happens to them. So with that being said, people, watch this clip, and maybe this job shouldn't be for everyone. But the next question is, the solution, really, the question, really, what can the apps do to keep us safe?
Here behind me is where a scam call turned deadly, and I'm going to step out of the way here so you can get a look here. The man who lives here is accused of shooting and killing an Uber driver. He now faces a murder charge and potential other charges. According to reports, authorities say William Brock had been receiving multiple threatening scam calls the morning of March 25th. The calls were concerning an incarcerated relative, and Brock was told to meet at the courthouse to pay a ransom of $12,000 in bail money, or they would kill him and his relative. Around the same time of the call, Lolitha Hall received directions from the same person or an accomplice, instructing her to go to Brock's home to pick up a package for delivery. Dashcam video from Hall's car shows her arrive to Brock's home to pick up that package. According to reports from the Clark County Sheriff's Office, Brock allegedly had a gun. This video appears to confirm that. The incident report says Brock allegedly took Hall's phone and wouldn't let her leave, and when she tried to go, authorities say Brock then shot Hall. They started fighting, and he shot her 2 more times. Authorities received a call from Brock saying he had shot someone on his property because they were trying to rob him. When units arrived, they found Hall with multiple gunshot wounds, and Brock was bleeding from his head. Hall was flown to Kettering Hospital in Dayton, where she died. Reports say while officials were on scene, Brock's landline phone kept ringing, and when one officer picked it up, the man on the other line said he was an officer. And the real officer explained what happened and asked the caller to meet. And he agreed, but never showed up. We reached out to Uber, and they responded with this statement saying in part, quote, "There is no other way to describe this incident than a horrific tragedy. Our hearts continue to be with Lolitha's loved ones as they grieve her sudden loss. We have been in contact with law enforcement and remain committed to supporting their investigation." End quote. Uber also went on to say the account of the individual who ordered the Uber trip has been banned. The sheriff's office is also reminding residents to be extra cautious and that no law enforcement agency or court will call you and demand for bail money over the phone. That goes for any other court functions as well. Reporting in Springfield, Grace Hewitt, 2 News.
Reese here, people. Another one. I told you guys that things are changing and they are trying to make it so that, I guess, in the eyes of the overall, that they're trying to make it even for everyone, W-2s and 1099s alike. The Gig Worker Act introduced in the U.S. House, which means, people, it's introduced, okay? So here it is, okay? On Monday, U.S. Rep. Bonnie Watson Coleman, okay, Democrat, New Jersey, introduced legislation to regulate the gig worker economy. Her legislation, the Gig is Up Act, will require companies with at least $100 million in revenues and that employ at least 10,000 independent contractors to pay both employers and the employees payroll tax contributions to Social Security and Medicare. Under the current system, the worker must pay for both. Okay, I do know that if they did that and it came from what we got, then that means drivers can be getting that unemployment. Hint, hint, Wisconsin. Watson Coleman said the legislation would create an incentive for large companies to accurately classify gig workers or independent contractors as employees. Okay, you can accurately put if you're an employee or if you're a contractor. So as some of the gig people say out there, you guys are employees, and I just say you are employees with the right to create your own schedule. Outside of that, you're pretty much you are self-monitored. No one's supervising you. These people work hard. They generate millions of dollars in revenue for large tech companies, but they've been denied the basic benefits afforded to traditional employees. Watson Coleman said, wealthy corporations have abused the system, and these workers, who often struggle to support their families, honest work for fair pay, that's the deal. The legislation ensures corporations hold up their end of the bargain. Okay? The legislation is supported by reps Eleanor Holmes Norton, Democrat of D.C., Rashida Tlaib, Democrat, and that is Minneapolis, Andre Carson, he is a Democrat in Indiana, Jan Schakowsky, Democrat, Illinois, Jamal Bowman, Democrat, New York, Sri Thanindar, Democrat, Minnesota, I guess, too. It's also a Democrat in Connecticut, Barbara Lee, Democrat in California, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat, New York, Summer Lee, Democrat, PA, Delia Ramirez, Democrat, Illinois, and Robert Menendez Jr., Democrat, New Jersey. Looks like this is something that the liberals want to do. They want to go ahead and put it in to do what they do as far as keeping everything equal and everything. And we got conservatives saying, no, let's let these apps generate and take as much money as they want and not give nothing back to the people doing the work. So now we got a struggle where some people who are on the conservative side may actually want what the liberals are talking about because it's benefits and extra money in your pocket for you doing the exact same thing that you're doing. So there's going to be a struggle there, and who votes for who as the economy changes. It's going to be crazy. Okay. It is supported by Social Security Works, Transport Workers Unions of America. That's all the transportation committee people. Communication Workers of America, America Foundation of Teachers, National Education Association, People's Action, National Employment Law Project, International Brotherhood of Teamsters, which is why, Australia went ahead and did the whole country. United Food and Commercial Workers International Union. Told you people, look, unions are all with this. The unions are saying that, we got all them people. That can be like a mega union or something. Okay. National Jobs for All Workers, Progressive Change Campaign Committee. All those are people in committees and programs that are in favor of this act going into the House. Now, big companies like Uber and Lyft keep profits to themselves by misclassifying their workers, shrinking all responsibility for benefits and decent wages in favor of previous gig work, AFT. Okay, President Randy Weingarten, I butchered that, said this is a targeted and malicious practice that leaves workers shouldering what should be a large corporation's obligation to contribute to their share of payroll taxes to Social Security, Medicare, and everything else like that. The Gig is Up Act confronts this injustice by pushing these companies to treat their workers as employees. So people, remember when we say that the people at the door think you work for the companies that you are delivering for? They think that you actually work for Pizza Hut or Domino's or Aldi's or Costco. They think you work for the place, not working for yourself. So they are pushing that, since they think that, and they are not in the mind of a driver, a real driver who is a real independent contractor. They're not thinking like them. They're thinking like the drivers who quit their W-2s, who are now driving, who still feel like they're employees because they think you are an employee, and that's why they want to put all this stuff in there. Now, if all of America, majority of them, think that we work for a company, why would America not try to make us all employees and regulate all the money coming in? You got to think about that. And it all came from the drivers and customers thinking, and people working in offices thinking what we do when they don't really know. But that's why more of us who actually do this job have to speak up, because we put it in the hands of people who will mess it up for you, depending on who you are, what part of the country you live in. You got to understand that. With all the rights and respect that affords them, American families can't build a decent life by cobbling together gig work. It's time for big employers to pay their fair share. So if you agree with that, give a thumbs up. If you think you need more money, you think these companies should be paying more, you are going on a liberal way. And I'm just telling you, when you go that way, more regulations on the tier systems, how I said, more regulations on what tier is going to earn what, this, and that. When they move everyone out of the warehouses who will now be on the outside doing work on these handhelds, these people are all the way in the mindset that they are being watched as employees at the work. They want to put all these people out there in the job force so that they drown out the 1099, because a lot of people, quite frankly, don't pay their taxes or anything, and they're losing money. While they're losing money, okay, the government says that we'll go ahead to try to get it like this. These companies utilizing all these people as gig workers and misclassifying them, we're going to make you classify them. Now you're going to pay for all of it, even if they're not, which will force everyone to sign a new term of service that says you are an employee and you are subjected to everything that a corporation has as regular employees outside of just being an independent contractor. Think about what's going on out there, people. Speak up, get on these panels, put your word out. You've been watching Hot Facts with Robert Reese, the official news channel of the gig economy. If you would like to know more about what really goes on in the gig economy, do exactly what the next clip says.